Welcome to the Taurus rising signs of the zodiac. This is your astrology for the month of March. Trust you're doing well. Before we get into it, we need to talk about your ruling planet. And your ruling planet as a Taurus rising is Venus. So, wherever Venus, whatever sign she's in, her dignity is always going to be really important for you to know because that sort of gives you a gauge, if you will, of your focus and how you're going to be showing up for yourself, because the first house is a rising sign that's about you, your identity, your life, what you want to begin, who you are. So Venus is transiting, well, has been transiting in Aries, and that's your 12th house. And that 12th house is the last of the houses before it goes to the first house when we're talking about progressions. And that 12th house, Taurus rising, is all about us hidden enemies, self-sabotaging traits and behaviors. It's a house where we do shit that we know we shouldn't do. And it's also the house where we get super possessed by those sorts of things that keep us stuck and keep us small, psychologically, physically, with our health. That 12th house is designed for humanity for a reason with the magic of astrology. There's a reason we have a 12th house, and that's it's like the toilet in the natal chart, the 12th house. This is the toilet. This is the stuff that's sitting there. It's waste. It's no good. It's toxic. It's got to go. It's got to be released. It's an anchor. It holds you back. And yes, the 12th house has a purpose, and that purpose for all humanity, and no matter for anyone on this planet, everyone has a 12th house that is almost like the thorn in the side, the nemesis, the hardest part of the chart to comprehend, understand, realize, and transcend. So your ruling planet has been direct in Aries, your 12th house, since the 4th of February. And straight out of the gate on the 1st of March, she goes into a retrograde. She'll be retrograde for the whole month. So for you as a Taurus rising, your Venus, your ruling planet, that's about your identity, who you are, what you love, what you want to begin, your sense of self, has been in the 12th house. So I don't know, have you been hiding behind closed doors? Have you been on a holiday? Have you been in therapy? Are you trying to transcend something? Or have you just been really good at not engaging in life and just doing the bare necessities to breathe and tread water? I don't know. It'll be very subjective. It also will factor into your own natal planets in your 12th house, if there are any there at all. But regardless, Venus has been transiting the 12th house. The wisdom of the planets are real, and she's asking you to be in the 12th house at this time. And why? Well, because you've got to deal with stuff that you really don't want to deal with, the toilet of your life. So now Venus is retrograding for the whole month, and she'll be retrograding back into her sign of exaltation, Pisces, from the 27th of March moving into April. She'll be retrograde. She doesn't go direct into the 12th of April. That's a long time. So you're backtracking, you're going backwards, and you're cleaning up house, if you will. That's what your ruling planet is asking you to do. Retrograde periods, especially with the planets that rule us, are the most difficult. They're the most complex. And Venus, it's all about the attraction and the pleasure and the joys of life, what we can grow, what we can harmonize with, have a relationship with. That's Venus. That's what she wants. So when she's in retrograde, it's not as if the pleasures of life aren't there. What Venus retrograde indicates is reevaluation of your value system and what you are attracted to and how you are going to execute a plan to get it, accomplish something that has a gravitas to it instead of it being fair weather. Right now, I would imagine with Venus going retrograde and Aries for you, it's going to be a less than savory transit. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Because if you've been really good at dodging bullets and not speaking up and speaking your truth, feeling a little, I don't want to upset people. So, yeah, well, where do you factor into you living your bliss? Yeah. So your ruling planet is doing something for you, retrograding and doing all the back and forward over your 11th and 12th house for a reason, because you need to clean house. That's it. Okay, so that's what is going on for the month of March. Basically, your ruling planet's in retrograde. Okay, so let's keep that in the back pocket, on the back burner as a side note for you. That's your focus, is knowing that your ruling planet is retrograding. That means your mind, your body, what you want, your sense of life is going nowhere fast because it needs to clean house. Does that mean that your life is, you're not living your life? Absolutely not. It's your ruling planet is going, I need to think about the bigger things about life. When it comes to my body, what I want to begin, what I love, what I'm attracted to, and my own sense of value. Where's my moral and ethical compass? Am I going in the right way, or am I escaping? Am I not being proactive in living my bliss and with my high integrities? Yeah, pointing fingers at other people and blaming other people for your position in life. No, not necessary, and it's honestly not true. So Venus is asking you to shape up, get to this, whatever, this sense of less than, I don't value this, I don't want this, nah, I'm not really that engaged. Well, good, because if you're feeling like that, Taurus rising, then that means something needs to change. And Venus is asking you to do that. She's giving you the green light to change. Yeah. So let's get into the planets in transit for March. Whoa, what a month. Okay, so we know from the 1st to the 27th of March, Venus is retrograding in Aries, the 12th house. 27th will retrograde back into Pisces and be retrograde in Pisces into April. And your ruling planet won't go direct until the 12th of April. So from the 1st to the 27th, your focus, if you will, is going, I don't want to deal with the hard stuff, being really difficult and really hard on yourself, just pushing against not wanting to change this 12th house of isolation, solitude, doing things on your own, doing all the heavy lifting. I'm a champion, aren't I great? I'm doing it all on my own. Even though I'm secretly dying, I'm not happy, but I'm doing it on my own, whistling while I work. Not great. So Venus retrograde is making you feel like you cannot keep dodging bullets, Taurus rising, from the 1st to the 27th. Okay, on the 3rd, Mercury ingresses into Aries. Really different energy coming into your 12th house now, joining your ruling planet retrograde Venus, because Mercury is such a different planet. I mean, the dignity of Mercury increases significantly. It's out of its detriment and fall in Pisces, and it's now got more dignity in Aries. In short, we've got a very sharp, focused, quick Mercury in your 12th house. So your ruling planet and you are kicking and screaming, and you don't want to deal with the things that you don't want to see. And I don't want to play. I'm really starting to dislike this 12th house. Good. That means that's where the changes and work is needed. As always, that's where the work is needed, in the 12th. So Mercury comes in, and Mercury is intellectual. He's about money. He's about socializing. He's about pulling things apart, bringing them back together. He is not into embellishment. He's into logic. He is no BS, Mercury. Just give me the facts, data, analytics, logistics of the situation, and I will work with it to understand it, and I will unravel it so I can understand what the hell's going on in this 12th house. Perfect, Taurus rising. From the 3rd to the 15th, Mercury will be in Aries direct. A healthier Mercury now that it's out of its fall and detriment sign of Pisces. So what does this mean for you from the 1st to the 15th when Mercury is direct? Do the research, look at your financial situation, unpack the things, with excruciating pain as it will be, that you don't want to deal with, that are really, really hard. Great time for therapy, meditation, getting an astrology reading, looking at esoteric practices to take you out of the body and into the mind, And that mind can be scary, but these planets and the wisdom of these transits, they really need you to focus on this 12th house. So Mercury's going, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it from the 3rd to the 15th. And then from the 15th, Mercury goes retrograde. Okay, so that's your window of time from the 3rd to the 15th. Execute plans to get on top of stuff. Research what your hidden enemies are, if any at all. Your hidden enemies could be behavior. Your hidden enemies could be a brother. Your hidden enemies could be a boss at work. Your hidden enemies could be your car. So Mercury's going research time, information time, talk time. Mercury is the messenger of the planets. He brings you messages. So you are going to hear messages. So you may be getting dream messages, messages through meditation, messages through esoteric divinatory tools, messages from your hidden enemies, those vices, that car, that boss, that brother. And those messages are there and important for you in the 12th house, which is hard to access. So here's the green light coming in from the 3rd to the 15th. You are going to get intel that you've been waiting on to unravel a mystery. Get yourself out of that toilet. Okay. Then on the 7th, Mars trines the Sun. Mars Sun trine. So trines are aspects in the natal chart data about Jupiter. Jupiter's in Gemini in his second house. So I wonder on the 7th of March for you, Taurus rising signs, if you get a financial opportunity. It could be about a vehicle, a sibling, an educational pursuit, or something in your immediate environment. I would look out for synchronicity on the 7th. You're just in the right place at the right time. Okay, moving on to the 11th. Mercury conjuncts retrograde Venus. Good. So Mercury's you really getting messages on the 11th. You're getting the intel on the 11th of March. Information that has possibly been withheld for a very, very long time. This is like finding out about a tax bill that you didn't know you had. This is about maybe a social component of your life that you realize is really not healthy for you. Expect information to come in hot on the 11th because Mercury's conjuncting your ruling planet, retrograde Venus. On the same day, the 11th, the Sun conjuncts Saturn. So Sun conjunct Saturn. This starts a new synodic for the Sun and Saturn. And Saturn's in Pisces in your 11th house. It's interesting because Mercury and Venus are retrograding back into your 11th house. So there's something going on in your 11th house, Taurus rising too, that needs adjustment. Your 11th house is benefactors, friends, social groups, societies, and collabs. It's a house where we get alliances, people that we unite with. And that 11th house also supports the 10th house of your public name, your identity, your career. So that you are who you hang with metaphor, it's going to be impacting your 10th house of your career. So something's going on really important in your 12th house and 11th house. It needs a focus. That's the wisdom of the planets. That's why they transit where they transit. Okay. So the Sun conjunct Saturn in Pisces in your 11th house. Interesting. That Sun conjunct Saturn is all about an optimistic point of view in doing the hard yards moving forward. So this would be like setting a new goal or dream in order, making well-laid plans for something that you really want in your future to become a reality. And that could be with the Sun. This could just be about your body, your work life, your self-identity, who you are. So that Sun conjunct Saturn in Pisces starts a really long cycle of let's commit to my dreams. So you might be getting some news from a career ally that benefits you, a new work opportunity. You may also hear Some pretty sobering news from a friend about a father figure in their life going through a difficult time on the 11th. And the sun conjunct Saturn in your group social house. Yeah, you just might be starting connecting with new movers and shakers, different people, places and faces, like getting into a new group on the 11th of March. Big changes going on. That's a big day on the 11th of March, so mark that in your calendar. Okay, on the 13th, Uranus sextiles the sun. So Uranus, that planet, which is the maverick planet, you don't know what the hell this guy's going to do. And he's been transiting in your first house since, 2018. I'm more than sure that you've had enough curveballs to make you think, what the hell is happening with my life since 2018, Taurus rising. And so the saga continues. Uranus isn't leaving Taurus permanently till 2026, so hang in there. Okay, on the 13th, Uranus sextiles the sun. So, yeah, this looks like you having an unpredictable reaction to a friend about the 11th of March, or that work opportunity, or that dream or goal. So on the 13th, I think you're umming and ahhing about the information you received on the 11th. Simple as. Uranus sextile, yeah, it's like you could just have an unusual reaction. So you're sort of letting people know what you really feel about what you heard on the 11th, basically. Okay, on the 14th. Wow, first eclipse of 2025. Yay. And this is our first lunar eclipse in Virgo. So on the 14th, total lunar eclipse in Virgo, your fifth house. Big deal. It's interesting because that fifth house opposes the 11th house, where there seems to be a lot of focus for you, Taurus rising. So we're not going to dismiss that fact. Because the sun's in Pisces in that 11th house, and you've got this total lunar eclipse in Virgo and the fifth house opposing the 11th house. Let's talk about this. This is really important. Lunar eclipses are like the result of a new moon. So it is a full moon phase where usually you see results. But when it's a lunar eclipse, this is very different. It's not like, oh, we have a full moon in Virgo and a fifth house of children, the topics of children, creative endeavors, our hobbies, our romantic partnerships, sex and pleasure. That's the fifth house. No, this is really different, Taurus rising. What we need to understand from an astrological perspective, and I mention this so you have a very good holistic understanding of what this is about. Mercury, that rules Virgo, is transiting in Aries in your 12th house. Factoring in information that you're getting about things in the past, things that you didn't know, trying to unravel the depths of whatever. And then on the 14th of March, there's a full moon lunar eclipse. So I wonder if there's something about an intimate relationship that you've been connected to is exposed or coming out. You're hearing news about an ex-partner, for example, or an intimate relationship that you're connected to. You see something on this day. And when you see something on this day, or you get this information on this day, it ends something about an intimate relationship. Big day. Lunar eclipses are the ends of chapters. How about a child if you have children? Is there something you're seeing in full bloom about a child of yours? And they announce that they're ending something in their own life. Maybe you're pregnant or have been pregnant and now you're about to have a child is a big possibility too for the Taurus rising signs. But lunar eclipses also, how's this for a curveball, speaking of Uranus? Lunar eclipses are about mothers, Taurus rising. So I wonder, with a full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on the 14th, if a mother reveals big news or you see results of what your mother's been doing behind closed doors, keeping to herself, going through her own demons, and she shares them with you on the 14th. And it's a big chapter in her life ending. It's a real possibility. We also can't admit that the lunar eclipse, lunar themes, we could be talking about environments. There could be changes going on in environments for a mother, a romantic partner, a child. So this 14th of March is when you're really going to see that a chapter in your life is ending. And with Mercury in the 12th house, yeah, it's something you didn't see coming. It's something you didn't see coming on the 14th at all. Let's go glass half full, Taurus rising. It's better to see and know than to not. The next day on the 15th, Mercury goes into its retrograde and your 12th house. So Mercury will be retrograde all month, as well as your ruling planet Venus. So with Mercury now retrograding in Aries, it's not as if Mercury's not going to give you information. It's not going to give you the logistics. It's not going to be able to do the good work that I'm sure it's been doing from the 3rd to the 15th. It's just that Mercury has at least begun well-laid plans in executing getting rid of crap. And Mercury now needs more information, so it's going in recon mode. It's going in detective mode. So it's going to be going back over its steps, and it's going to be moving back into Pisces, and the key lies in Pisces. So what do I mean by that, Taurus rising? I mean that Mercury is going to be getting the information in Pisces that it missed on its first go round when it was transiting in a direct motion in Pisces in your 11th house. So this is a big deal because your ruling planet Venus is going back in the 11th as well. But Mercury retrograde in Aries on the 15th is really good for, did I hear what I hear? Did I got the communication right? Are these messages even correct? And when Mercury goes retrograde, you're scrambling to get to the answers. So it could be on the day before the lunar eclipse, you got some really big news and you're like, hang on a minute. Is this real? What the hell's happening here? It's like that thought is your brain switched on in the 12th house of just going, oh my God, I've been in the dark. I didn't see this. I can't believe this. Now I need to find out. So think of it like that. Okay. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about this. We need to discuss this. I just can't believe it. I'm trying to process what the hell I've just learned on the 14th. Okay. On the 19th, the Sun conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. So the Sun conjunct Saturn in Pisces earlier, and now the Sun's conjuncting Neptune. Yeah, this could be a day where there could be like a dissolution of a friendship, a dream, and an alliance or a social connection. You're done with something here on the 19th. You're letting know and letting go. Could be bittersweet too. Also could factor in a father. Okay. Moving on to the 20th, the spring equinox begins in the northern hemisphere. And of course, the autumn equinox begins in the southern hemisphere. So, big deal. Equinox change of season. The 20th, equal day and night. Enjoy that. I love the equinox part. And it doesn't matter where you're located on a beautiful planet. We can see it in the nature around us, but we can also feel it in the air. Like in an autumn equinox on the 20th of March, for me in the southern hemisphere, because I am in the southern hemisphere. And I go, oh yeah, that's familiar cold when you wake up in the morning. It's that sort of sensation. There's a change of season coming. So enjoy your season change on the 20th. The same day, the sun ingresses into Aries, the 12th house. Thank the goddess for that, Taurus rising. And the sun's exalted here for 4 weeks and on the same day. So when the sun gets to 0 degrees of Aries, astrologers consider this the start of a new year. So happy new year to all you astrology enthusiasts out there on the 20th. Okay. The sun ingresses into Aries, lighting it up, lighting the toilet, lighting up that toilet, Taurus rising. Oh, God. Okay, let's talk about this. Now, the sun's exalted here. It's exalted. So, in short, the sun, this is the ideal zodiac sign for the sun. It's because Aries is about spring, new beginnings. It's fertile, it's lush. We're planting seeds and things can really go from here. Things can really start expanding. So the sun in your 12th house for 4 weeks from the 20th of March to the 20th of April. And then you get in to Taurus season. Okay. So the sun's lining up that 12th house, and I'm more than confident that you have received some really big information. And really embodied some big experiences to date from the 1st of March to the 20th of March. And then the sun comes in and says, where can we grow from here? Where do we move from here? How can we feel empowered about what we've learnt, as unsavory as some things are, even parts of our own psyche and who we are? How can we shine a light at it and go, well, yeah, we're human, but we've got to get out of this toilet. I've got to get out of isolation and solitude and feeling so I'm doing all the heavy lifting on my own. I'm just, I'm one of these people that just has to suffer in silence at the moment because this is a transit. It doesn't stay here forever. So the sun's going, okay, well, how about we be optimistic about this Taurus rising, this 12th house of yours. We know that it's ideal to maybe work in solitude and do things on your own. It might be ideal to do that. How does it affect your health? How does it affect your vitality? And where's the potential for growth in this house? Show me it. The sun's saying, show me it. I'm here now. Show me what benefits you in isolation, in solitude, doing things on your own. What benefits you? So the sun is really asking for information, Taurus rising, from the 20th of March to the 20th of April, to show the sun why it's so good to be in the toilet of your life. You get the picture? It's not. But there's gold here. There's gold here. And the sun is going, well, this may be the toilet of your life, but how about we see what we can actually grow instead of feeling dismal about doing things in isolation and solitude? Why don't we flip the script here? So you get the picture. I think the sun in Aries for you, Taurus rising, in short, is a psychological change. Okay, moving on from the 20th. It gets really stupid from here. We talk about the planets' aspects, and your ruling planet Venus retrogrades all up in this. So this is important for you as a Taurus rising sign. I'm sipping on a smoothie if you keep hearing me drink. Sorry, it's quite warm in the southern hemisphere right now. Okay. On the 21st, retrograde Venus sextiles Pluto in Aquarius. A superior in your workplace, a work opportunity, knocks on your door on the 21st. So it's easy to get the call back that you've been waiting for regarding a job. It's easy to knock shoulders with the big guns in your professional life that are otherwise hard to reach. And you can develop something really quickly here on the 21st regarding advancement with your career. On the 23rd, the sun conjuncts retrograde Venus. This is the Gethsemane point for the sun and Venus. There's going to be 2 more passes. So the sun conjunct your ruling planet. Talk about again, like Mercury conjuncting your ruling planet, if you're not getting information that's been concealed for a long time or understand something about your own life that is really hard to understand, I'd be really surprised with all these conjunctions to your ruling planet, unless you're ignoring something. Unless you've got your fingers in your ears going, la, 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 I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear. Well, then that's a really good question. Why? Okay. So, yes, on the 23rd, the sun conjuncts your ruling planet, retrograde, and shows where there's life in his 12th house, the benefits of going down psychological rabbit holes and the potentials of maybe thinking about children, having children, doing something more fun instead of being in the doldrums on the 23rd. The 24th, the sun then conjuncts retrograde Mercury. Yay, the sun now has a Kazemi moment with Mercury, and the sun now says to retrograde Mercury, this is what we need to grow. So what I need you to do, retrograde Mercury, is keep unraveling that breadcrumb trail to show Taurus rising where the gold is in the 11th house. And also show where the confusion's coming from the 11th house. And, Taurus rising needs to know some serious information. So I'm infusing you with intelligence, energy, to seek out the information necessary to help Taurus rising on the 24th. Beautiful. The 27th, your ruling planet Venus then retrogrades back into Pisces, your 11th house. Now, Venus is exalted in Pisces. Your ruling planet Venus loves being in Pisces. And when she does retrograde back in there, she conjuncts Neptune. So the 27th, you're letting go of something again. You're releasing something from a social connection, a friendship, a dream, or an ally. Okay, so you're letting go on the 27th. So let's just talk a bit about your ruling planet Venus going back into Pisces. Why do I put to you, Taurus rising, why, if we believe the system of astrology and the wisdom that they have for us, why would your ruling planet be going back into the house of dreams, goals, good spirit? Why? What did you miss the first time around? And keeping in mind too with astrology that Venus is retrograde, reevaluating what she values and loves, what she's attracted to, how it benefits her. So what is the benefits that you missed? And why are you going back to find benefits or connections, social connections, dreams, or allies, people that support you with your professional life? Why are you going back there? Think of it like that. Why would she rules you, your body, your sense of self, what you want to grow, what you want to start, who you are. Why are you going back? I would say it's because from an astrological perspective, you would be going back over how your social dynamics influence things that hold you back or don't benefit you, and learning to be okay with not being okay and settling for second best when it comes to your professional goals, your friendships, your social connections, your dreams. You need bigger ones. You need better ones. You need different benefactors in your life. Maybe maybe you're playing it too small. Maybe. But Venus, your ruling planet, is retrograding back in that 11th house for a reason. Did you look a gift horse in the mouth? Did you take a friendship or a work opportunity for granted? Did you take a dream for granted? Did you take a goal for granted and you didn't follow through? I know your ruling planet's coming back and saying you really loved that. You loved this group. You loved this dream. You loved this goal. You loved that professional ally. Why did you disconnect? So you can understand it from the 27th of March moving forward. Moving on to the 29th, retrograde Mercury follows Venus. Venus and Mercury are very close. And Mercury's sort of just going, man, Venus, you need to hear this. So which is you. So something's trying to get to you. Mercury, the messenger, something's really knocking on your door, Taurus rising. So the 29th, Mercury retrogrades back into Pisces, your 11th house. That's a real crappy place for Mercury to be in because it's in fall and in detriment. It's just like messy, confusing, can have all these intellectual faculties and finances really screwed up here because it's overwhelmed by the disorientation of the bliss bombs of dreams and goals and the fantasies of friends and relationships in Pisces. It's just not good. So think of Mercury as doing really good work in Aries, and it goes back into Venus and back into Pisces, and it just can't put its finger on it, you know. And the problem with that is he's traveling so close to you. That's a problem. It's not a blessing. It's a blessing in Aries when Mercury's in Aries with you, not when it's in freaking Pisces. So what does this mean for you? So Mercury will be retrograde back in Pisces, 11th house on the 29th of March, moving into April. So think of this as Mercury's still researching, trying to understand things, but it's it's like trying to understand things once it's had 5 cones or 5 drinks at a party, or talking underwater to your best friend where you're hearing really important information. You can't really hear them. It's all distorted. That's the problem with Mercury retrograde in Pisces in your 11th house, where friends aren't easy to understand. Dreams aren't easy to process or intellectualize or financially work it out. Your professional connections, all of a sudden, they're half in and half out. How frustrating. You get the picture. It's going to be really hard to feel like anything that you're hearing, seeing, reading is real. It's just difficult for all of us. You're not the only one, Taurus rising, with Mercury going back into Pisces. Okay, so, and just for fun, on the 29th, there's a partial solar eclipse in Aries in your 12th house. So this is the second eclipse of March. So solar eclipses are about solar themes. So these are about fathers, leadership. It's about the ego and identity. That's the solar eclipse. So it's in Aries in your 12th house. So I think you could be able to connect the dots by now astrologically. What's happening here for you? Solar eclipses are major, major beginnings. Nothing to sneeze at. And this is in your 12th house of isolation, solitude, things you do alone. The toilet house. And the solar eclipse is saying, I want to grow something here. And it's a powerful new beginning. So that could be a father saying, I'm going into rehab. I'm finally getting on top of something that's really, really, really difficult for me to process. You could be having a personal ego death here regarding self-sabotaging behaviors or traits that you may harness, if at all, or at least a hidden enemy. That could be anything, right? There's a whole new beginning opening up here that's quite powerful, where you will get to see this hidden enemy in its absolute truth. So a solar eclipse is a new moon, okay? That's a new moon. But when we're talking about a new moon solar eclipse, it's a focused, super intentional new beginning that's no BS. And in Aries, this thing's going to grow. It's going to grow. It's going to get bigger. And this is powerful, a powerful new beginning in your 12th house. So you might, again, news from a father, something you do in isolation that you work with on your own. You're done. You transcended something, I think, potentially. And you're moving on. You're done with a certain part of the toilet, whatever the clog is, clogging up that pipe. It's done on the 29th. You are out of here. Good. Congratulations. Okay. On the 30th, a retrograde Mercury in Pisces conjuncts Neptune again. confusing information, losing money, losing an ally, losing a friend. This is about a loss, a dissolving of something that just intellectually doesn't jam with you on the 30th. So you're like, nah, I'm out of here. So expect to cut something or someone off its legs on the 30th that you thought was beneficial in your life. On the same day, the 30th, Saturn sextiles Uranus and Taurus, your first house. So Saturn gives you a gift in the 11th house. And what's the gift? Reality check. That may throw you in a spin on the 30th. So I would expect some pretty big news on the 30th, big change going on for you. And the last thing that happens on the 30th of March, ending the month, we have Neptune ingressing into, you guessed it, Aries, your 12th house. Yay. I'm laughing because I am ending a 12th house transit with Neptune there. So yeah, that's right. I'm an Aries rising. Okay. So Neptune's been in your 11th house since 2011. And on the 30th to the 5th of July will be direct in Aries in your 12th house. And the 5th of July, it goes retrograde. So this is a soft opening. It's like an official beginning of the end, but not official. Think of it like that because it's only a 4-month transit. But Neptune is doing what it needs to do in Aries, your 12th house. So what does that mean for you? Well, we've got a very different Neptune. It's going out of a yin water mutable zodiac sign and it's stepping into a cardinal fire yang zodiac sign. So this is all about the action. And in that 12th house, which is a very underdeveloped house in our chart, Neptune's going in here and yeah, this is going to be big for you, Taurus rising. So Neptune is a planet of illusion, delusion, fantasy, idolization, mysticism, ethereal, otherworldly sensations, far-reaching, and you put that in your 12th house. Where you fantasize about things in isolation, self-sabotaging behaviors, you keep indulging in those practices and they end up becoming a real problem. Or you get creative about the toilet part of your natal chart and go, I really do put a lot of merit in doing things in isolation on my own, and maybe I need to change this up. And Neptune goes, well, here's some inspiration on how to get rid of shit. And here's how to take action, because this is a cardinal zodiac sign and a fire zodiac sign of burn it up. You know that song? I don't know if you know that song, when a fire starts to burn and it starts to spread. Something needs to be burnt up and released and cathartically cleansed here. And Neptune's going to help you burn through the crap and start something new in isolation that's empowering instead of disempowering. It's a very different Neptune from being in Pisces, where we all sing kumbaya, everything's funny and wonderful, we're cruising through life, and then Neptune gets in Aries and Mars zodiac sign, where Mars is all about war and aggression and power and passion and action. And Neptune just goes, I really need to shape up or ship out here. But it's going to be a very long transit. I think it's like 15 years Neptune will be in your 12th house. So creatively getting really, really good at calling out your own bullshit. Simple. With Neptune in Aries. Cutting away. Getting rid of things. Things that we want to grow in isolation. We'll make sure it's a really good dream that's really not going to be a waste of your time for 15 years. So that's your astrology for the month of March, Taurus rising. A lot to chew over and digest, absolutely. Biggest highlights, of course, the eclipses of the month. Feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below. Till next time, stay cosmic.